We always wanted to have kind of a John Woo-ish type combat where I can grab a pulse rifle, I can drain all of 99 bullets I have in a mag, toss it, grab the sidearm, the revolver, and put the finishing touch, put the finishing bullet right between Xeno's eyes, and it's an incredible feeling. And like, eyes. Eyes, yeah, they have no eyes, I'm sorry. Yeah, right there in the forehead.
Hey, this is Sam Stone here at San Diego Comic-Con 2024, here with the creative team behind Alien Rogue Incursion, out for PlayStation VR 2, PC VR via Steam, and MetaQuest 3 out holiday season 2024. Alex, when dealing with something like the Alien universe, it's a little science fiction, it's a little horror, there's corporate commentary, all that sort of things. How was it kind of like making that all work for a VR game experience?
I think that you'll find that Alien's used future aesthetic really lends itself to that level of believability that's really super immersive. Putting that into VR was just a natural choice because, so much of the horror that surrounds us, we're already immersed in, right? And a lot of that corporate horror, that's already part of our everyday lives. So adapting that to Alien as a writing theme was pretty easy. Adapting that to VR as an environmental theme, I will let my other panelists talk about. But I think that it was actually quite easy to do.
How was it like balancing like horror and action? It's a tricky balance, but you want to empower the characters, the player, but not too much where they don't feel like they're like terrified whenever they take on a Xenomorph. Like, how was it navigating that?
Yeah, it's a great question. The first thing we did when we first started the game was obviously go through a stage you call finding the fun. And hopefully at the end of this, before you move into production, you find the fun. We spend probably over a year just working on a Xenomorph. How does it behave? It's a very complex enemy. You can't grab a gun and shoot. There's not many things in terms of gaming that it can do, but yet it's a perfect killing machine. It finds you wherever they are. It uses the environment as its weapon against you. We started with the environment, right? The corridors was the first thing we put in the game. It was very iconic of the environment of the films. And then we put a Xenomorph in there, what we thought was going to work. This is a Xenomorph that could climb through walls, like behind the walls, pop out of anywhere, pop out from a ceiling. And that instills fear because you never know where it's going to come from. It's also perfect for VR because your head needs to be on a swivel. You don't just walk forward and kind of shift your mouse around. You're actually looking actively everywhere where it's going to come from. That alone instills fear. You also, the audio that we put into it, the music alone is enough to raise attention, but you hear like a little clickety-clack behind the walls, and you don't know if it's just something sparking, some electrical wires or something, or is it a footprint? You hear when Xeno walk around. So that's where the fear comes from, the anxiety. But then the combat, that's the next part because it moves so fast and it's lethal when it gets back to you, and you have an arsenal of weapons to stop it. So making the hit reactions feel juicy, making it leap in the air and ability to knock it out of the air, ability to spot it. That's a skill check of the player, and that's where the combat comes in. That's when you feel amazing as a player and empowered with the weapons.
Sure. Let's talk about that music for a second. One of the things I love about the Alien score is like Jerry Goldsmith really kind of has like this dark sense of wonder. It's like there's still a sense of awe, but there's something sinister just under the sonic surface. Like, how is it kind of recreating that and adding your own kind of stamp to that for the game?
Yeah, no, it's been incredible because I'm such a fan of those Goldsmith scores, and they're really iconic and stand the test of time. And yeah, so it was a challenge, and it was exciting to sort of think about how to call back to some of those iconic sounds while also doing something modern and especially immersive. And telling a new story. This is an original storyline. So all of those things were, elements in creating the score. I took, inspiration from some of the instrumentation from those early movies. Like they were, the first one was very woodwind driven. So I have been playing around a lot with woodwind sounds that are non-traditional and experimental, and sort of recording with players in really weird or unusual ways, having players sing through an instrument and then running that through electronics. So you sort of hopefully will feel like there's a sense of calling back to some of those sonics, but in a new context, basically.
Davis, come in. Do you copy?
How much time do you spend looking at your screen? For all the time and attention you spend on your PC, are you still using a generic background? Are you still using those Windows rolling hills or whatever stock image came with your computer? Have you downloaded a low-res image online to use as your wallpaper? Are you still waiting for somebody out there to create a wallpaper that reflects who you are but still doesn't quite hit the mark? Well, that's where Razer Axon comes in. It puts the power back in your hands to create, design the perfect wallpaper that reflects who you are as a person and as a gamer. Let's go ahead and go over this 3-step process, how Razer Axon makes it all possible. Step 1. Through detailed descriptions, text prompts, even sample images, you can tell Axon exactly what kind of wallpaper you're trying to create. From there, customize the art style. You want cyberpunk? You want steampunk? You want punk? Well, Axon's got you covered. You can also customize the number of images and the resolution. The possibilities in creating your perfect wallpaper are endless. Step 2. Select from a wide variety of images generated by Axon based on your request to find the perfect image. From there, customize and toggle the chroma effects to really get those images to pop. This extends to supported devices including keyboards, mice, headphones. You're really getting the full PC ecosystem experience thanks to Razer Axon. Step 3. Take that artwork and apply it to your wallpaper and your supported devices. That's it. All good artwork is meant to be shared, so be sure to enter some of that artwork in the regular contest held by Razer for a chance at Axon rewards and compare your artwork with a community of artists all supporting Razer Axon. From there, sit back and bask in the glory of that artwork that you created. Through Razer Axon, you can turn your screen into a canvas and make your dream wallpaper a reality. In terms of like writing the game, Alex, like, did you have any golden, because Alien is kind of like evolved a lot. There are a lot of weird takes on Alien over the years. Like, what were some of your own narrative golden rules when you were kind of like building this world and building this script out?
I do like to keep things as standard of Alien as I possibly can. If you read my books, you'll see that I'm always kind of hewing very close to the first 2 movies. And I think that that's because that's an experience that we can all agree on we really love, which gives me a great set of tools to exploit weak points that you may now have psychologically, right? You're now thinking of the story in a certain way. That's great. That's exactly what I'd like you to do. For me, writing and trying to keep it close to that original flavor, I think you can't really go wrong.
Let's focus a little more on the combat too, because I mean, from fighting aliens in power loaders to colonial space marines, taking them on with those humongous like assault rifles, like how is it kind of like working with the weapons within the world of Alien and kind of getting them to work intuitively to a VR experience?
Because it is VR, you finally get the dream of holding a pulse rifle, one of the most iconic weapons in the Alien universe, right? The fact that you can hold it, hear the sound as you're firing off all the caseless bullets coming out of your gun, is pretty incredible. There's physicality of it that you always kind of, at least I personally always wanted to experience, and the only chance I had was the airsoft gun that I have in a form of a pulse rifle. Seeing the damage it does from a Xeno with the special, the VFX, we have the acid blood that drips on the ground and the Xeno is dead. It's so immersive, and it's absolute wish fulfillment. Because it is VR, and the way we've designed our weapons and where your weapons are on your body, we wanted quick access to the weapons. We always wanted to have kind of a John Woo-ish type combat where I can grab a pulse rifle, I can drain all of 99 bullets I have in a mag, toss it, grab the sidearm, the revolver, and put the finishing touch, put the finishing bullet right between the Xeno's eyes, and it's an incredible feeling. And like, eyes, yeah, they have no eyes. I'm sorry, yeah, right there in the forehead. And like I said, from the very beginning, we wanted combat to be fun, essentially almost in a cardboard box with a Xeno. And then because we knew once we improved the environment, it was going to be amazing. And the first combat we had was just in a hallway. And we saw the magic. We were like, we have lightning in a bottle there. And then from then on, we knew how we're going to build the environments. We wanted to go behind, we wanted passageways all through the environment. And they don't just spawn where you're at. Like in a game, you would spawn, you'd walk in a room and you spawn a few enemies. Here, they respond to sound. they respond to what the player is doing. If you're clumsy and you knock over a bunch of cups off a table or something, they will hear it, they will spawn somewhere in the environment, and will go investigate the sound. So essentially, it's a simulation of their behavior, and it creates some really interesting and emergent behavior from the Xenomorphs.
I got time for one more. And I mean, what can you tease ahead of the holiday season release of Alien Incursion VR? I mean, whether it's kind of creating this immersive world visually, narratively, or through the very distinct sound design.
I'm excited for the characterization. I'm excited for people to meet our stars and get to know them and get to love them and see how their journey through the environment changes emotionally and how it moves from beat to beat and how it captures that within the tension of an already very dangerous and difficult environment.
Alien Incursion, the VR experience, comes out PlayStation VR, holiday season 2024. The Sam Stone and San Diego Comic-Con 2024. Y'all, thanks for taking the time to speak with me today.
Thank you.
Watch out!